This is the
The
part when
part
I
when
say I don't want you. I'm stronger
hey,
than I've been before. This
this
is
is
the part where I break free. Cause I can't resist it no more. Oh, 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 oh. That song has nothing to do with these episodes, but honestly, these episodes had nothing to do with anything either.
maybe
So,
maybe the second episode, yes, because
oh,
they were all
true.
having a very good day.
That is true. They finally let them enjoy themselves
Right.
instead of like torturing them and
They're
being
like,
like,
hey guys, you want a break? Just hang outside and play for a little bit.
right, y'all said to each other how much you hate each other, and then we let America tell you. So now we want you guys to have a good time. And it's like, all right, okay.
All right. What is
But hey,
that?
y'all, welcome back to the Shade
Oh,
of It All. I'm
that's my phone.
Brandon.
I'm Maggie. Sorry,
Oh,
Brandon.
oh no, what happened?
I saw my phone in the corner like this, but it was
Oh,
lower, and I was like, "What is that?" I think it was
oh,
like this, and I was like, "What is
oh
that?"
no, what's here? That's funny. I like that stand.
Thank you. It's handy.
Oh, look at that. I have a little clip thing, but I always forget to use it.
Oh my gosh, I would love that because this is so slippery. It always falls out of my hands when I'm laying down and trying to watch my phone. First world problems.
First of all, when I'm scrolling on my phone and don't feel like holding it. How are you
Uh,
doing today, Maggie?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Uh,
Except our technology is still not working.
tis is. We keep getting an error, but IT's still working on it. Do you,
I really thought the thing that I thought was gonna work would work. So I really only tried to fix it for like 30 minutes. And I was like, I think I should have spent more time on this.
I mean,
My bad.
look, it's all good. You know, sometimes IT says they're working on things when they're not, so it makes sense.
It was a holiday weekend.
It was. And
Can't
also,
blame me.
I wonder if it's as simple as a SD card.
I know it might be. There's a couple like there's a whole like manual. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, I think I gotta just do a deeper dive. So stay tuned.
We'll see. But you know what? We are okay because this podcast, again, it didn't start off in person. So we
I
know how to make it
know.
do
We
when
do.
things like this arise. So we're still giving the content. We're still talking. It's
Yes,
all
we
good.
are. How are you
Uh,
doing, Brandon?
I'm okay. Kind of have had like a chill weekend, but like also not. I woke up yesterday like not feeling too great, but then I
Oh
was
no.
like, I need to clean my shower because you know how our showers get. And I'm like,
Yes.
I knew I wasn't gonna be able to today. So I
Yeah.
was like, I need to just do it, but I really didn't want to. But then I did do it and it was raining. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect because you know, after you shower, you or after you clean like with bleach and stuff, you like to shower. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is great. It's gonna be raining. I'm gonna have coffee. Like it's gonna be amazing. All of a sudden it wasn't raining anymore. And I was like,
Oh,
now I don't want to go anywhere because I've showered, I'm moisturized. Like, what am I gonna do with my day?
I
So
feel that.
I just relaxed and did all that. And then
Sometimes you need a relaxing day, though. Sometimes life will just be like, you know what? You're gonna stay inside, and it's okay.
this is true. This is true. And I'm excited because this upcoming week I'm going to the beach.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
So I might
for
for Victoria's birthday.
that'll
I
be
meant to
fun.
mention, maybe we'll do it on the pod now, a little inside baseball for y'all. So I'll have to do the Friday watch party for Patreon. Y'all should subscribe to our Patreon at the
Yes,
Shade
do
of It
it,
All. I'll have to
do
do
it, do it.
that virtually. So we'll have to do the
Okay,
phone, which we know how to
okay.
do now.
We
So
do
it
know how to
works
do
out.
it. We're flexible. Look,
Yes.
live, in person, virtual. We got it.
We make it work. We
We
make it
do.
do. And we are tech savvy sometimes. Um,
Except when things break.
except when things break. And then it's like, oh,
We gotta learn how to do things.
this is crazy. Okay, so should we jump into these
Let's
episodes?
do it.
So we're going over episodes 27 through 29. I like these episodes. eh.
Yeah, it was like super drama, total drama island. And then
hmm
it's like,
We don't care.
actually, yeah.
And even the Aftersun was like long again for no reason. I'm like, okay,
hmm
y'all, like, what are we doing? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, but it's crazy to think that a week from today will
It's
be the
gonna be
finale.
over.
Hmm.
My heart. Will you be back on Sunday?
I should be. I think we're coming
Okay.
back early Sunday, so I should be able to record later in the day Sunday.
Okay.
So we should be able to make that work.
All right.
It's the
Oh,
finale and then Beyond the Villa.
starts. Yeah, that
Hmm.
night.
So very
Um,
jam-packed.
our very loyal patron, Jalissa, who
Hmm.
knows everything always,
Yes.
was like, and it's going to premiere Sunday, but we believe it's airing Thursday. And I just believe her because I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure she's
It made
right.
sense to
Yeah,
me.
I was like, Jalissa, you know the schedule. You're an expert. So
Uh,
we'll probably, maybe we'll figure out how we're going to record, but that's what we're watching next. So if
yeah.
y'all miss season six cast as much as we do, watch Beyond the Villa. Even Aaron and Connor are there.
Oh, even them. Uh, I'm actually at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm excited because the sneak peek didn't look that good. But then
Yeah.
like after this past like week with these Islanders, I'm just like, you know what? I miss my season 6 ones. And
Yeah, it's gonna be I really hope it's good. I think I'm just gonna be happy to see them regardless.
hmm.
But yeah, I do think like switching from kind of I mean both a reality TV, but a reality TV show like that is it's gonna be
Yeah.
different, where they're not always together all the time. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, do they even all live in the same city? Are they just gonna be recording from different places? Like,
I think they all just went to LA for the filming because I think Janae lives in Vegas
okay.
or something. And then we know Aaron doesn't live there.
Yeah.
So I think they all had him like come to LA and stuff, which
Interesting.
yeah, should be interesting. We'll see. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
Fingers crossed. I think it's gonna
Um,
be good.
yeah, I think it'll be entertaining, I think at least mildly, or at least not as exhausting as this season of Love Island.
LOL. We've been
Uh,
on a freaking roller coaster and I don't know what's gonna happen next.
I
Sierra
know.
is still there. Like, I'm curious tonight's episode if anything is gonna change.
Yeah, there's gonna be a recoupling, so I think a guy's gonna go home.
Or maybe they'll just like kick Sierra out during the recoupling somehow.
I know, right? I wonder if it'll be like, oh, she had to leave and then Nick left with her. But probably not. He's for the streets.
Nick is like, so Iris.
He's like, so wait, now I can really get with
Oh,
Olandria.
Landria, I didn't even think about that.
Mm,
Hey, look, I don't know. I don't know, but it's gonna be interesting
I'm
to
excited
see what they do.
nonetheless.
Yeah,
Yes, we
me
shall
too, me
see. It's
too.
probably gonna be a long ass episode too. They always make everything. Oh my gosh, like this episode 27 we're about to go through, it was like an hour and 15 minutes for no reason.
Pretty much.
They
Because,
drug out that vote.
right. And then for 28, the game is like the longest part. So,
Mm,
like, people had conversations, but
I don't
let's
know.
jump in.
Yes. So episode 27, it's the aftermath of the Stand on Your Business challenge, and everyone's
Hmm.
just very shook about what just happened because they basically all try to kill each other like in front of everyone. They're just
Basically.
like, and now your turn.
And you know what? I hate all of you.
Right. And let's gang up on Amaya. We'll gang up on
You know,
Huda.
Huda, we had your back, but actually, we've hated you this whole time.
So there you go.
All the guys were like, yeah, I don't like Amaya either. It's like, what the
And let me
fuck?
say something right now. I cannot. Ace is feeling drained over Chelley liking Chris. Whatever.
Whatever. Your ego is bruised. Whatever.
Hmm. Taylor didn't like Olandria trying to cuss him out. Says the only ones who can do that are his mother and his wife. And I'm like, well, she just did, so looks like Olandria too. Olandria says she stood on business and tells Clarke to be careful and that she can always talk to her. Says Taylor can be done with you in a split second. And I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be done with Clarke. He seems to like her, actually.
Yeah, I was like, Olandria, can we stop?
I know. I'm
Please. It was
like,
kind of embarrassing where she's like, Clarke, be careful. And earlier, Clarke, did you know? And Clarke's like, yes. And now she's like, well, just be careful in general. We don't know this guy. And Clarke's like, but I actually
uh,
feel really cool with him.
I know it seems chill.
Hmm.
There have been, I saw a TikTok where people were showing like there's little moments where Clarke and Olandria are actually like laughing together and getting along. So I think they're actually like cool.
Yeah, I
And then
think so.
yeah, and then there's also moments where they'll like show which is sad. It's like the girls talking in like the getting ready room, and then Olandria is just like not sobbing, but just like on the couch laying down, like holding her face, like in pain because she's sad about Taylor.
Yeah, like it's tough. At
Hmm.
this point, I'm having a hard time being empathetic. But if I remember my initial feelings, I did have a lot of empathy for her because she
Hmm.
was blindsided. He wasn't honest with her, you know?
Yeah.
And I think maybe she just kept holding on to hope that he would change, you know? And then
Hmm.
the stand on your business was like, you know what? Fuck you, you know?
Hmm.
And so now it's like officially like I think she's really done, but I think she really believed that this was going to be her person. So I want to
Yeah.
try to have more empathy for her cuz as much as we could be like, "Can't you see it?" You know, like she really
Hmm.
had her hopes up, you know? They were together for like 3 weeks straight, you know?
Yeah. So like
So,
I'm thankful that it seems like after this challenge, we don't really get too much about it from her, which is nice. I think she's finally like, okay, this is
yeah.
time to move on.
And we know he's not going to talk to her unless
Oh
he
yeah.
absolutely has to.
Hmm. Iris tells Amaya not to worry about the guys and what they said because Amaya's kind of getting emotional about everything. Huda is sitting there looking sad, wrapped in Chris's shirt, just looking
Well,
out in the distance. And I'm like, she's so performative. And although I did feel bad for her, I was like, okay, like,
really, Brandon? Like I actually felt like this was I mean, you could just sit with the group. You did have to sit a little extra, so maybe that's a little performative. But I would have
hmm
been like, fuck all of you. Like Olandria tells my secret. Chelley is yelling at me for something else that I didn't even know about, and nobody really took up for her. Like
hmm
it was like a dog pile, not a dog. It was kind of a dog pile of Chelley,
It was more than one person
Olandria.
kind of coming at her with everything.
Yeah.
So,
And
no,
Sierra
yeah.
a little bit too, you know?
I understand why she was upset. It's just she's so hooded to be so performative with her upsetness. Just like sitting there with the jacket. It's like with the sunglasses when Jeremiah was returning from the date and she was just like, and then like whenever she's upset, she's eating alone, she's slamming things. Again, I get like why. It's just
Yeah.
Huda, she's gonna let you know how she feels. Even if
Yeah.
she's not talking to you. And I'm just like, okay, Huda's upset. We'll give her okay, Huda's mad. Got it. But I do understand why.
Why?
It's
Yeah.
just Huda in general. I'm like, okay. Um, Nick says when Amaya gets like that there's no positive arguing. To which I ask, well, what is positive arguing?
Like you want her to be calm. So Austin gets to yell at her and ask her, "Do you understand?" and talk to her and belittle her, and she's supposed to just act normal. Like,
Right.
check your friend. The fuck? That pissed me
Mm-hmm.
off. I was like, yeah, when a girl does something, you all want to be upset as if she doesn't have a reason to be mad. Like, I get that, like, it's hard. Maybe they think it's hard to communicate with her, but it's like, you guys are always being disrespectful. If you would have a normal, level headed conversation with Amaya, Amaya would not be like crashing out, you know, or getting upset. It's just that, like,
Mm-hmm.
they talk to her crazy. She chimes in, and the first thing Austin says is, Amaya, this has nothing to do with you. Like,
Right.
that would piss me off.
Same. Especially again, because they were talking about her.
Right. And
So,
nobody acknowledged the fact that it wasn't even about Amaya. It was a conversation, a question posed to Ace about Jeremiah. And Ace decided to redirect it. You know what I mean? So it's
mm-hmm.
like, check your friends also, Nick. Like, keep the same energy. Maybe he does, but we don't see it.
We don't see it at all. Austin says if everyone is saying the same thing, it must be true. To which I say, oh, since we all say you're stupid, that must mean it's true too. And given your recent activity outside the villa, mm,
He's so dumb.
he's
Oh
so
my God.
stupid.
Like, oh, you got we got your phone back and this is the first thing you post?
Hmm. I can't with him. Gracyn is upset about the note to Pepe and just felt very embarrassed, and the girls are trying to like comfort her. Amaya asks Huda if she's okay, and she just says she doesn't want to talk to anyone. And then she tells us that she's had so many people's backs. To which
I mean, she had Olandria's back after
She
Olandria
did.
embarrassed her.
She did have Olandria's then.
Um, whenever Amaya gets upset, Huda's always comforting her.
She does.
I feel like even the whole like Chelley, this was for you. It was also I feel like she has had people's
It
back.
was
I don't think
Huda's
that's
way
a
of having
stress.
her back. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she had their back. Because
Yeah.
oh, Olandria just embarrassed me in front of everybody, but a couple minutes later I don't know if that's the timeline. Maybe it
I
didn't
know. I
happen in the
wonder if it
order.
was like
Mm.
flipped. Mm.
But we did see her stand up for Olandria.
We did see that. I would say she doesn't not have people's backs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Olandria tells Shelley that the chapter of her and Taylor is closed. Yes. They laugh at Taylor.
Please close it for real this time. There.
Right. They laugh at Taylor standing on business in front of his boys. True. Shelley's looking at Ace sideways because she doesn't like how he aired their dirty laundry in front of everyone,
Yeah,
which
that would
I
piss
do
me off.
understand that.
Yes, like, oh, you can't talk to me in private. You have to write it down. Granted, Shelley, that's exactly what you did to Huda, but I digress.
Yeah, not no.
So,
uh, they're all getting ready for bed, and Amaya's just crying by herself, just outside, and it's so sad.
and
She's
she's
just
like
going through it.
weeping outside. I was like, Amaya.
Amaya, no. The girls keep comforting Grayson and say that the question to Pepe was really mean. And Amaya says whoever did it is a pussy for not owning it. And they keep cutting to Huda.
They did. And
And
I was
I'm
like,
like, oh,
hmm.
did she do this? And then Huda gets into bed with Chris and reveals that she was the one who wrote it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that wasn't
Yeah.
nice.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't nice.
That wasn't having Grayson's back.
Yeah, to be like, we all know Pepe. Oh, girl. Oh, damn.
Everyone knows he doesn't really like Grayson and loves Hannah.
Oh, that's insane. You
Yeah,
know? Um,
right.
is this before or before this? Is this when Andrina was mocking Huda for how she was closing drawers?
Oh, yeah, she did do it that night.
Okay, so I don't feel like Huda did that much for Andrina to be like, like the way that she exaggerated it. I get that when you mock someone, you kind of
Hmm.
exaggerate, but like I was like, Andrina, I don't think you like her because she was talking to you in private. You go and tell the girls. She closes drawers, and then you exaggerate.
Yeah, no. She always kind of flips what Huda does.
She does, and I feel like Huda has her back sometimes. So
She certainly does by the end of this episode.
yeah, I was like, so everybody's talking about this mean girl stuff.
Hmm.
Trying to say that like Chelley, Sierra, and Olandria are mean girls. And I wonder if Andrina is just like you guys are like the dominant group and it seems like you don't like Huda, so like I'm gonna make fun of Huda behind her back kind of thing because
Yeah,
like it's the common thing to do.
I could see that. Like maybe she thinks it, but like she's kind of going out of her way to like say it because she knows
Yeah.
everyone has an issue with her.
Right, and she wants to fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, because I don't know any other reason why Andrina would just do that unless it was just like the common thing. So that also kind of makes sense why Chelley is so like I think Huda has just been like the bottom of the barrel for all the girls.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, and like that's why it's like, okay, well, Chelley's mad at you. Well, yeah, because we all low key don't like you anyway, you
You are
know?
actually very annoying.
Right.
Now that you mention it.
Right.
The next day, everyone's getting up, and Huda says she's tired of looking like the bad guy. I'm like, I get that. But I'm
This
also like,
time,
when you write the note, that mean note, that kind of like,
yeah, that
it's
that
like I
was
see
not.
both sides. I'm like, you have been the bad guy. This time, not really. But then you writing that note kind of is. It's not
Yeah,
nice.
it's not.
Yeah. So I don't, you know what? Huda's just complicated, which is
She is.
fun.
Yeah, she is.
Ace sadly gives Shelley breakfast and a flower. He's like,
He's like, hey, good morning.
here.
And then they give like a side hug.
Right. I'm like, this is awkward. Uh,
Mhm.
Taylor doesn't understand why Olandria was upset when he already told her Clarke gave him a different feeling. That's not why she's upset. He doesn't get it. He's never gonna get it.
He doesn't get it. He's like, why won't she let me be a kid?
It's like it's not that. It's that you lied and strung her along.
Yeah, and you kind of maybe used her.
Mm. But maybe you'll get that at the reunion. Olandria and Huda talk and they make up. This was a nice moment.
It was. I wasn't sure if Olandria was gonna apologize because she like during the argument, they're like, no, you're wrong. And she's like, but I did it. And they're
She's like,
like,
well, anyways.
Chris is like, that's not cool. And she's like, she was gonna find out. Like she really doubled down. But I
Hmm.
did appreciate that. It seems like well, I don't know what time it was, but it seems like early on she did say
It was
sorry.
still light outside, so at least it wasn't all day. Because we've
Yeah,
seen
maybe in the
things where it
morning.
lasts all day. All of a sudden it changes.
Right.
But yeah, she says she has a different relationship with Huda and she apologizes for exposing the kiss with Chris. So that was
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
She just felt weird in the middle because she's also close with Chelley. And I'm like, I get that. But you also kind of just chose Shelley's side outright. So it's kind of like,
Yeah, and Shelly didn't care about the kiss. You did.
mm-hmm.
Like in the argument, Shelly's like, that doesn't matter to me. And Olandria kept going. You
Yeah.
know? So it's just like,
Do you think Shelley did secretly care though? Because she wrote the note to Huda about Chris, which shocked me. I thought it was her problem was the Ace thing mainly, but they all just focused on Chris. And I was like,
I think that it was just misdirected energy. Shelly's
mm-hmm.
upset that Chris is not feeling her, and she took it out on Huda. You
Yeah.
know? But I don't think Shelly would care about a kiss because you kiss Ace, like Huda said, you kiss Ace every day, you know?
Yeah.
I think in Orlandria's mind, that meant she wasn't being a girl's girl, but still, it's like, so she can't kiss the person she's coupled up with, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it was all very backwards to me. And I think Olandria, since she said it, she's like, well, I gotta defend myself.
Well,
I did it
we
already.
gotta double down on this
I
because
can't retract my statement, so I gotta defend myself.
I said it in front of the class.
And you know what? Actually, that kind of makes sense. Maybe this was after the Taylor thing. Maybe
Hmm.
she addressed Taylor first, then Huda went, and she just had smoke for everybody.
Yeah. She
I
was ready.
wonder. I wonder. Yeah.
But Huda was hurt because she felt like no one had her back and everyone was against her, which,
Yeah.
true. But they do make up again, so it's very nice. Amaya and Zach chat. She didn't appreciate that he waited until she was being attacked to bring up his issues, or he waited until she was being attacked. He says he should have had her back and not got involved. It's like, okay, this is starting off good.
Yes.
And then he says when she first asked him to kiss and cause up more, he didn't want to, and he should have been honest. And Amaya was like, well, that's really mean. What the fuck?
Yeah, like why would you say that? I don't know. Zach can also join the stupid club because what the fuck? You're like
Right.
apologizing to maybe he's getting somewhere, but it's like I don't think you hear yourself because that
Yeah.
would also bother me. Yeah, like, I'm sorry I did that. And honestly, I didn't want to kiss you in the first place. Your breath kind of, you know what I mean? Like, what
Right.
are you on about?
It was too much, especially because I think he referenced the circle room, which is
Yeah,
technically their second time kissing.
right,
So
right.
I don't know. But
And every time she kissed him, she asked first.
yeah, it wasn't just out of the blue. She was like, oh, do you want to? And he
Yeah.
said yes, because Olandria wouldn't kiss him.
Right. And you wanted a kiss from Olandria. Cause he said like it was quick for him to kiss someone. But I'm like, but you wanted to kiss Olandria, I think the day you met her.
Right.
So
So
I don't know about
we're
you.
just saying anything.
We are.
And this is where Amaya says, you are an extremely odd individual, and I do not want to fucking talk to you ever again. Fuck off. Shut the fuck up. I'm like,
And
period.
he's like, yeah, yeah, we'll talk later. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you two are awful.
They are. I'm like, I can't. But it was so funny. I was like, all right, Amaya. She's like, I'm standing 10 toes down.
No, she wasn't playing around anymore. She's like, y'all tried to
Mm-mm.
beat me up yesterday. You're not gonna do it today.
Guess what? Gracyn tells Pepe she didn't realize he was stuck in the past and asks if he's like with her, like liking her and says he was with Hannah for 9 days and doesn't understand why he's still thinking about it. Well, anyways, girl, he just doesn't like you, and it was a good nine
Yeah.
days. Like, what do you mean?
I just feel like he should have been like to find out kind of during a challenge that you're stuck on somebody else. I feel like
Right.
he could have been open with her. Maybe he didn't realize. I don't know.
I don't know either.
All that Hannah stuff coming back kind of took me aback. I was like, what oh, I
Uh,
was surprised.
You're still liking Hannah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. But Pepe's just now he decides to be fully honest and is just like, I don't feel a spark. And it's not you, it's just I don't know. And
Yeah.
then she cries and he asks if she wants a hug, and she says yes. So they
And they
hug.
hug.
And
I
she
felt
just
bad
really
for
wants to
Gracyn.
find love. Yeah, I did too, because we haven't really
Yeah.
seen much from her.
We haven't. They really haven't shown Grayson at all.
No.
At all. I was like, I really don't even know anything about her.
But and I wonder if we'll get to know her.
Yeah.
Amaya and Bryan talk and she thanks him for standing up for her. And he's like, of course, that's our Hispanic culture to like speak like that and everything.
Hmm.
And he said she was looking fine up there, standing up for herself and doesn't want her to feel alone. And I'm like, this is cute.
It was cute.
I'm like, okay. Amaya says she's a circle and people need to stop trying to put her in a square box.
I love her, but everything is an analogy with Amaya.
I know, right? She has something for everything.
She does. It's straight off the dome.
Chelley and Huda chat. Chelley says she always respected her feelings in the past. And then Huda's like, oh, well, the Chris thing was for both of us. And Chelley just felt the switch was crazy with how close Huda and Chris got. Like all of a sudden they like really liked each other. And so Huda apologizes for that.
I was like, I don't think you need to be saying sorry for that. What do
Yeah, I
you
don't
think,
know.
Brandon?
Not really. I'm like,
You're mad they got close quick?
yeah. I'm like, but she did say she was into him when she brought him in.
Right. And before Casa told you that she wanted to talk to Chris.
Yeah.
Or before the
So,
recoupling, the Casa recoupling, she mentioned it. So
yeah.
she's like, the switch up of you guys getting to know each other was quick.
Right. I'm like, okay. I guess she just liked Chris a lot more than she let on.
Yes.
But Shelley says she doesn't think Huda's malicious, so they make up. And I'm like, okay, at least they made up. I didn't hear you
Yeah.
apologize for anything,
Chelley didn't apologize at all.
but okay, as long as y'all are good.
Yeah.
Clarke feels bad for Taylor, and Taylor wants to wait to talk to Olandria because he doesn't want to be disrespectful. And because you're probably not capable of actually having like a emotionally mature conversation, as we've
Right.
seen from the past.
Right. You kind of avoid any kind of heavy topic ever. So,
But yeah. Clarke is happy there's no more confusion though. I do like Clarke.
me too. I really feel like she's like I feel like their connection is fine. She's a really cool girl. Like they could have something really great.
Hmm.
He was just messy and doesn't he will not know until the reunion, I guess. I
I
guess at this point.
I hope they do a reunion. They gotta with the amount
They
of
have
like
to.
chatter online about everything.
Yeah.
Clarke gets a text and it's time for the Hate to Burst Your Bubble game presented by Maybelline.
Maybelline.
And they're about to find out what America thinks about them.
Mm-hmm.
So before the challenge, they're all getting ready with the makeup and it's all these like slow-mos and stuff. Someone on TikTok tried to say they took the beauty filter off, and then someone was like, because they can't have a beauty filter if they're promoting makeup. And then someone tried to say Shelley looked different. And I was trying to look and I was just like, I
What?
didn't think anyone looked different. I thought they all looked good. And like, what are y'all trying to say? Like, it was
I
like
didn't
weird.
I didn't notice anything happening. That's weird.
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought everyone looked the same and everyone looked good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was a weird TikTok. So Ariana arrives with a flipped B.O.B. So you calling me Bob? Uh, I was like, all right, Ariana. America, she tells everyone that America got to rank the Islanders from most to least in different categories, which we were talking about during the Patreon live watch party. You didn't see anything. I had saw notifications like right before it ended.
Yeah.
but it was just very time consuming.
Right. And it was the night before or the episode before the
Stand on
uh
your business.
yeah,
So I
which
think
is
they
also interesting.
saw, yeah, they saw, I think, just the heart rate challenge, maybe, or
The
something
heart rate
like that.
challenge. Yes, the end of that episode, I guess. And I
hmm
I did not see this poll.
Yeah, I saw a little, and then I was like, I'm not doing this. I didn't know it would like have to do with the challenge.
Break the internet. Yeah.
Right. So they make this so complicated for no reason and so time consuming because it's basically like the guys have to rank the girls and vice versa. And
Hmm.
then, well, the guys will rank themselves and the girls will rank
Yes.
themselves. But then the guys and the girls will have to
Can
do what
change
they
it.
actually think. But
Yeah.
then we will have to find out what America thinks. And I'm like, we're just taking up time.
No, for real though, for real, for real. So what did you
Right.
record? Just Americas, right?
I kind of just did like highlights as far as like how they rank themselves and the guys rank them or
Uh-huh.
whatever, or vice versa. It just the
Uh-huh.
ones that stood out, and then kind of just like America, kind of just like the first and last, because all the middle was kind of like, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the first category was most to least genuine, and they're ranking the guys. So the
Yeah.
girls thought Zach would be least, and that the most would be Elan.
Yes.
But however, America voted Pepe as most and Taylor as the least.
Yes.
And Zach was actually third, which I guess made sense again because it was after the heart rate challenge. And him and Amaya were very funny in that.
They were. And I
So,
think that Ace was second to last.
yeah, he was ninth.
I think, yeah.
And he tells us he wish he would have gotten constructive criticism. And I'm like, this isn't school. Like, we're not your professors, like, to tell you this is why. Like, you'll find out when you watch the show.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that part. But also, like, I wish it was more like, man, I need to think about what I've been doing and why people might put
hmm
me here. Not like, I wish I knew why. Like, you can't think a little bit? Fuck.
No, him and Chelley, we'll see,
Yeah.
but they don't really want to think about all that.
They don't. They're like, anyways, moving on.
Um, Next category is boyfriend material, and the
Hmm.
girls think Ace is the best and Austin is the worst. America actually ranked Pepe as the best and Taylor as the worst. Ace was eighth. I will say, I don't know, Ace could have ranked a little higher in that one, but also,
Yeah. I think his energy and his arrogance just puts everybody off.
yeah.
And like even how he was like, kind of like playing Chelley in the sense that like you clearly like her, but you pick somebody else. And then as soon as you couple with Amaya, you're mean to her. Like I feel like there
hmm
were enough things that he did to be that low. But I was surprised it was that low. I was like, dang, Zach.
Yeah.
Well, obviously Zach gets to be before him. But
hmm
Austin, I think he was
I know,
standing next to
right?
Austin a couple times. But Austin doesn't even give that much off. So yeah,
Yeah,
we've really seen Ace show his ass the most.
I agree. Clarke doesn't agree with Taylor's placement, but wonders what she's missing. And I'm like, you're just missing that he's a liar.
Right. And he didn't lie to you,
Uh,
so I guess it's okay.
yeah. The girls are ranked by most trustworthy. Huda thinks she's the least, and Chelley thinks she's the most. That's
Yeah.
why you should never think you're the most. Um, the guys think Jaden should be number one because she's a PI.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay.
I guess.
They ranked Olandria second to last because of the fire pit.
Hmm.
America votes actually Amaya as first and the most
Hmm.
trustworthy. And Ace is like, that wasn't in my parlay. Anyways, hater.
You shouldn't be betting on anything.
Right. Chelley was eighth and Clarke was last, which I
Yeah.
didn't agree with the Clarke one.
I was surprised at that. Okay, so from what I understood, I think Jalissa told it. Shout out to Jalissa because I
Oh,
know
yeah.
everything because of Jalissa. She told us that you had to put everybody in order. So if I was
hmm
gonna rank everybody, would I put Clarke last? I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, we haven't seen anything to consider her not trustworthy.
Right.
So I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah, because there's nothing to not trust about Clarke. We
Yeah.
low-key don't really know her. I don't know where I would put Clarke, Gracyn, or Andrina in those well, maybe just Clarke and Gracyn.
Yeah.
Um,
I think they just did it because she's with Taylor.
yeah.
Um, the next category is ranking the most to least genuine. They rank Olandria as number one and Idrina as last because she didn't admit to the one note about Austin until a few like notes later or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
but at least she admitted it.
Right.
America actually voted Amaya as most genuine, and she almost cries, and it's sweet.
It was really sweet. She's like, you guys are gonna make me cry.
Oh,
And I think Chelley is put eighth or ninth on this one again.
yeah, she's ninth. And
And
then Clarke is last.
Clarke is last again. Yeah, when I saw them for the second question, still think really highly of themselves, I was like, guys,
I think we should
no,
be noticing a pattern here.
right, no context clues.
Mm.
And then I
But
think Olandria was third by America.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
I believe so. And they put Iris. Iris got second, I think, both times, which I do
Mm-hmm.
like Iris.
Yeah,
Then they do this thing where the couples are ranked on who they would want to go on vacation with.
yeah,
Amaya and Zach were first, and last was Clarke and Taylor. And then eighth was Chelley and Ace.
yeah.
I'm like, damn.
And I think Austin and Jaden were right next to them. And I think Chris and Huda were second or third. They were high up there.
I forget, but they were high up. At least
Yeah.
top five.
Yeah, they were top five.
Mm.
And I was like, see, Zach was like, America, I love you. And I was like, shut up,
It's not
because
real. It's delayed.
we didn't see. I was like, y'all should have did all the voting on the same episode if you were gonna reveal it all at the same time. But I was like, all right,
Right.
Zach, have your moment. But
Be
yeah,
happy for now, I guess.
yeah.
But don't get too happy. This is where Ariana then tells them that there was this vote where it was favorite guy and favorite girl. And the girls and guys who received the least votes are in danger of going home right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a bottom three of each. So the bottom three girls are Jaden, Gracyn, and Idrina. And the bottom three guys are Austin, TJ, and Taylor. Are we shocked by these?
No. Well, I was shocked to see Andrina on the bottom.
Same.
I was like, because I we don't know Grayson and we don't know who was the other girl? Sorry.
Jaden.
Yeah, we don't. That's the. I literally can't remember her name. We don't know
Yeah.
them well. So if you had to rank every or like pick your favorite, they would be picked the
Hmm.
least amount. But I was surprised to see Idrina down there.
Same. I wonder if it's because people were hating on her for like I think because of after she relayed the message Huda said to Chelley in
Mm.
that way, I think that played a big role in it.
Yeah, yeah, that wasn't cute. That wasn't a great moment for her. Um, and honestly, she doesn't get a lot of airtime apart from us seeing her be messy.
Same.
So
Yeah. So it's just kind of like I don't know who would have voted her as favorite.
right. And it's interesting. So it's like, so basically for the girls, it was just Casa people and bombshells that we haven't gotten to know. But for the
Hmm.
guys, it was like people who we have issues with.
It was. It was like because it's just one bombshell, and then the other two were like OGs, Taylor and
Yeah,
Austin.
yeah, yeah. I was surprised to see TJ down there though.
I was a little too, just because we haven't seen much from him, but maybe it's also the like Idrina effect, where it's just like we haven't seen much. So,
Yeah. And Brian stood up for Amaya. So I
hmm,
see him being above TJ at least.
yeah.
Austin was awful. Taylor's been awful. So,
I guess I'm surprised maybe Ace wasn't down there just because of the
yeah.
ranking, but he does have a lot of followers and fans, I think. So that this is probably where they would come through. Whereas ranking, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, I think people are still high on him despite how he's been acting. I think people still like him.
yeah. So the Islanders, though, they can only save one person. Thank
Yeah.
God. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's too many people. As Nicole said last season, there's a lot of bodies in this bitch. And so basically it's you have to stand behind. who you want to stay. They love to
Hmm.
bring this season.
They
This method.
do. They do.
And so they do it so slow. So I basically just wrote the name of the person and who stood behind them.
Okay.
Jaden, Brian, and Chris stood behind her.
I was like, damn, Brian.
I know, right? And then I think Chris just did it to like support Brian,
I
maybe.
think so. Yeah. I was like, you should be standing with your girl Huda.
hmm Gracyn, only Elan stood behind her. Even Pepe didn't, which was kind of fucked.
Was. I was
He's like,
like,
I'm gonna
damn.
dump you and vote you out.
I'm like, oh my gosh, Pepe.
Right.
I don't know if you noticed, but when he was voted most for both of the things, she kept making like, well, they showed her making a face. I don't know if it was to that, but it's clear Grayson's not
hmm
so high on him.
Yeah, no. I think she hates him now.
Yeah.
Idrina, Huda, funny. Chelley and Amaya stand behind her
Mm-hmm.
because Huda doesn't know how she's been talking shit.
Mm-mm.
Austin, only Olandria, and she calls
Yeah.
him bestie. And I'm like, Olandria, don't. With TJ, it was just Iris and Zach. And
Yeah.
Iris is like sobbing the whole time.
I feel bad for her.
I did too, because they were building a real connection, and she's just been dealt like a bad hand this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So then Taylor, who gets the most votes, has Clarke, Pepe, Nic, Ace, and Sierra
I
standing
was like,
behind.
Sierra, you couldn't just pick a girl. I feel like I low-key feel like Olandria picked Austin to kind of plead the fifth, like I'm just gonna pick somebody, you know? But like
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why the girls didn't pick Andrina, you know? Like
Yeah,
all of them could have just picked her.
I agree. And we'll get Sierra's reason why, but the internet was like speculating, like they think it was strategic. Like she didn't want Iris and TJ to stay because they're competition. And I'm like, well, he wouldn't have had enough votes anyways.
Right.
And then they just think maybe that she wanted Taylor to stay because she thinks they'll beat him at the end. And I'm like,
Mm.
maybe.
I
I
think
don't
that people
know.
are thinking a little too far into this. Nobody knows the stats and like all and I don't think Sierra's analyzing all of these things, but like
Right.
I just thought that the girls would stand behind each other. Cause sorry, who's
I
behind Idrina? It was Chelley, Huda,
and Amaya.
and Amaya. Okay.
Yeah, Alandria and Sierra, I think, should have stood behind her.
Yeah.
So yeah, Taylor stays, and it's kind of like a quick thing of the five Islanders leaving. Like we see Austin say he loves Amaya and is all and says that she always should just be her, and she's like crying, and I'm like, I guess they made up.
They must have because on Aftersun we see her say nice things. And I'm just like, yeah, maybe they had a moment, but
hmm
he felt bad and said sorry. I mean, he didn't tell us that. I don't know. But they must have
Uh,
made up, yeah.
Iris is utterly distraught about TJ. She's just crying. And he says he'll see her out there and she's got to go through with this experience.
Yeah.
And then it's basically just all the people being like, oh, yeah, I'm going to miss everyone. I made great connections and like all this. And then they walk out.
Yeah, I really feel like this whole vote was just to weed out people and get some people out of the villa.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, because they had like 20 people. So now they're down to 15.
yeah, and a lot of people left at one time. I was happy to see Austin go. I didn't really have feelings about anybody else. I did feel bad for TJ
hmm
because I felt like he was getting to know Iris.
I agree. And we just hadn't seen much from him, but also him as a person. I heard he like follows Andrew Tate.
Austin does?
Or no, TJ.
TJ does?
I
Fuck
know.
TJ. Damn.
So I'm like, bye. Iris, you can do better.
Actually, I was talking to a friend yesterday. We're in Tampa. TJ went to the University of Tampa, and I guess there's a bunch of girls online talking about like I was just with this guy a couple weeks ago, and I mean, they're not necessarily saying bad things about him, but just that they like recently dated him. So
hmm
I I don't know.
I don't know. It's a mess. But that was episode 27.
Well, 28 starts with the aftermath of this. Iris
hmm
is crying. In true Hannah, in true Hannah fashion, she just like curled up on a chair crying.
Oh, yes.
They all have just waved goodbye to everybody, so they all kind of walk inside. And then they're all getting ready for bed, and Iris is just like, I was really actually building something with TJ, and like he was actually helping me enjoy my time here for a change.
Uh,
She's low key miserable, and I was like, oh my gosh. But Chelley is like, don't worry, girl, we're gonna be here for you. We will always be here for you. And I was
hmm
like, oh, that's nice, Chelley. Chelley's like, no, but people say I'm not trustworthy. You know what, Iris? I'm
I'll
gonna
show
hype
you
you
how
up.
genuine I am.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
Um, Taylor and Clarke talk, and he says him being last was very stressful, and he apologizes to her that everything that he did put her in a negative space. And she just tells him it's not his fault, and he's like, no, it is. And I'm like, I'm glad you know it is.
all right.
I mean, you don't know why, but at least you can take accountability. He says it's his fault because he put her in a tough position. But
hmm
it was good she wasn't in the bottom three, because if they were both in the bottom three, then one of them wouldn't be there right now.
Yeah.
So they're both agreeing that they're grateful. And he just says it's crazy that one choice can change everything, but he has been very happy since he chose to be with her. In her confessional, Clarke says being last was very tough and uncomfortable, but obviously his decision at the recoupling left a lot of people unhappy. But she is happy with him, and she's going to focus on the positive that Taylor is still there. Um, it's just going to continue to be like they just don't know. Well, they just don't know.
Yeah.
Ace and Chelley talk. And she's like, I'm confused. Like, I was surprised to see you at the bottom and then me at the bottom. She was like, maybe you, but not, I didn't think me.
I didn't think this would happen to me.
And she was like, the categories were most genuine and trustworthy. And she's like, damn, that's how y'all think about me? And he says that he was just glad that she didn't look at him differently. And she asks if he feels any kind of way. And he's like, no, I know who I am. And I know that you know who you are, Chelley. And so they just cuddle. And in her confessional, Chelley's like, y'all really aren't fucking with me. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I said, but I think I'm very genuine. So that was crazy. And then we see him give her his jacket, and she says that he is great boyfriend material to her.
Mhm.
So it's like America was like, you guys suck, and it brought them back together.
Right. They're bonding over being hated, which is
Yeah.
sad.
It is sad. It is sad because I can't imagine being in there and being like, shit, what did I do? You know, or
Right.
like, what did y'all see?
Ace is like, I guess I'm not winning.
Right. He was like, I was really going to use that money to host dance classes in person and not just through TikTok.
Right.
So yeah, I felt for them because I'm like, I mostly just wanted Ace to kind of take a look at himself, but like, people can do that when they leave, you know?
Yeah.
For it to happen inside with no context, I'm sure it sucks.
hmm
Everyone is in the kitchen. Maya and Iris are sitting at the counter, and some of the boys are cooking. And Amaya comforts Iris, and she's like, "It's gonna be okay." And Iris is like, "I'm gonna be cold in my bed now." And Nick is like, "You can sleep with me and Sierra."
No.
Nobody
That
wants to
dirty
sleep.
bed.
The fuck, you're gross.
Get out of here.
We don't see Iris's reaction, but I was just like,
Especially because y'all have already said she's like the dream, like threesome, or it was like, yeah, because they brought her to the middle in that heart rate
"Oh,
challenge.
they did."
Mm.
That's why he's like, "Sleep with us."
You can come with us. No.
LOL. So Chris and Elan and Zach talk, and Chris says if Iris is wonders if Iris is gonna be open again, and he's like concerned whether or not like she can actually like be open. And Elan says that he doesn't think she would stay if she didn't think she could be open again. And Chris said if he liked someone that much, he would just leave with them. And Elan said, well, if Iris is open, I'm interested in her. So
All
Elan
right.
is all right. We'll see what happens with them. And then Zach, I think they ask Zach, like, who are you exploring? And he's like, I'm still with Amaya and Olandria. And I was like, In his confessional, Zach goes, Amaya is a genuine girl. He is not surprised America put her where she is. She wears her heart on her sleeve. And he's not sure where their relationship is going. It's been ups and downs, so he doesn't know. But he fucks with Amaya heavy because he thinks she is a great girl.
And because you saw
Interesting.
America likes her. So,
You're so fake, Zach. We can see right through it, man.
I know, right? Like, get out of here.
All of a sudden, she's a great girl.
That's not what you were saying 20 minutes ago.
Literally, earlier you're like, I'm sorry, and I didn't want to kiss you. Now she's a great, genuine girl.
I've always liked her.
Iris and Olandria are chatting in like the dressing room. And Iris is like, fuck, 5 people in one day is brutal. And Olandria is like, for one of my best friends to stand behind Taylor, that was a dagger to the heart. And she's like, Sierra did. And
Hmm.
then later, I don't know if it's in the same moment or later, Sierra apologizes for picking Taylor. And Olandria's like, it's okay. I'm like, guys, let's be honest. You just said it's a dagger to the heart, not it's okay all of a sudden.
Right. And she said she
Um,
did it because of Nick.
yeah, she said that Nick would have been devastated if Taylor left. So let him be devastated. You're there.
Make a decision for yourself, girl. You're always focused on Nick and what Nick wants and like his needs and all that.
Right, right. And she was one of the last people to pick somebody.
Hmm.
Taylor had enough at that point. You could have just stood behind Austin if you didn't want to like play favorites. You know, you could have
Yeah.
stood next to Olandria. Like you didn't need to.
Right.
I think he had five, ended up with five. He only really needed 4 people to stay. So,
Hmm. Someone doesn't watch Big Brother and it shows.
right, we gotta count.
Mm.
And that's why you almost tripped standing behind him. I don't know if
Oop.
you saw that, Brandon.
You mentioned it, but I didn't notice it again. I need to go back.
There was something on the floor and she went to stand on it and like stuttered a little bit.
Oop.
Zach almost ate it at the end of the challenge, like going to hug people. And I
Oh,
noticed
yeah.
that. And people were like, see, that's what you get for being awful to Amaya. And I'm like,
Hmm.
guys, yes, but no, I don't know. It must have been, the floor must have been wet. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Elan, Zach, and Brian are like all brushing their teeth, and they're like, "Yo, the Ace and Chelley thing really surprised us. Like, what are we not seeing?" And I was like, "Yes, keep asking questions. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's about your group leader, the group captain.
Right.
He's got some dirt." Huda asks how, or Huda asks Chelley how she's feeling, and Shelley's just like, "America, shit, I don't get it." So she's still kind of confused. Huda tells Clarke at least she gets to sleep with her boy tonight, and Clarke agrees, like she's thankful Taylor's still there. And Olandria is like, Amaya, America loves you, Amaya Papaya. And she's like, ah, and she's like, you're America's sweetheart. And I was like, see, y'all are
Mm.
funny. I don't know.
Now y'all are hyping Amaya up.
Right. Ain't
I
never
will
seen you
say it
guys
seems
there.
like the girls did always like Amaya and they always comforted her, so I don't know.
Yeah, they were never like outright mean to her,
Yeah.
you know.
Whereas the
So
guys.
yeah, the guys were really awful to her, so it's okay. But it's like, oh, you're America's sweetheart,
I guess they like you.
I guess. They're all in bed now, and Nick like jumps into bed wearing like some kind of pink onesie with a hood. I was like, I
Oh
don't know.
God.
And then Pepe bed is next to Iris, and he asks her if she wants to sleep with him. And then we
Hmm.
just see everybody goes to sleep. So the single people are Olandria, Elan, Brian, Iris, and Pepe. Everybody goes to sleep, but we do see that Iris and Pepe are chatting throughout the night, or part of the
Hmm.
night at least. So it's the next day, and some of the boys decide to make crepes. Chelley says she wants to like hurry up and get ready because she wants to make breakfast for Ace. He had a rough night. So I think that Ace was more impacted by the vote than he let on.
Oh yeah.
Like I think he put on a brave face.
He was going through it.
He was.
He had back-to-back awful nights. He was distraught
Yeah.
after the heart rate,
Oh,
after the
that's
stand on your
true.
business, and now
Yeah.
after this.
He's like, my girl doesn't want me, and we're like kind of married, and America doesn't want me either.
Oh,
Damn.
does anyone like me?
And he was like, and it wasn't part of my parlay, and I lost money.
And Amaya's ranked first? What the fuck?
So she cooks for Ace. And while she's cooking, Taylor asks her if they'll lock in now, and she's like, I don't know. Iris and Pepe kind of get their breakfast together and they go off and eat together. And she's like, "Man, I know how you feel about Hannah now." And like, I had 3 days with with PJ with TJ, And he says like he doesn't even remember how long he was with Hannah, but it got very strong and he kind of got caught up in it and it was like really good. But he felt like such an insane connection with her. So they're both relating to be like, man, we really liked really great people,
Hmm.
but we're talking to each other.
We could be something maybe.
What do you think about them?
They would be cute together. But I think they're friends.
Yeah,
I like the friendship part of it.
yeah. I couldn't really get a good read on them because honestly, like oh wait, honest, hold on, Brandon. Pepe was rated very high, and I was kind of surprised.
Same. I wonder, I don't
Like,
know
why Pepe
why.
specific? Yes.
Like I not necessarily that he should be last or anything, but like he was so high, like he was first.
Right.
That kind of threw me off. Is this also where Olandria was like, we know that Pepe has a type.
Oh, she says that after the challenge, I
Oh,
think.
after the challenge, fuck.
No, you're fine.
That was
You're
funny
fine.
though. It made me think because he was talking to Iris that I'm just like, I wonder if Olandria saw him was like, hmm.
Well, wait, Brandon, you loved Hannah, and Pepe was really sweet to Hannah. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, and I think people are still upset about the Hannah vote.
Yeah.
So it's like a residual, like, and look, agree it was a dumb vote, but literally the viewers of this show, y'all let some stuff go.
Seriously,
Damn,
seriously.
like it
No, like people do
happened.
too much.
Ugh,
Yeah, because if you were gonna pick most genuine guy, who would you pick? Because
mm,
Amaya was a no-brainer. That made 100%
yeah.
sense. But if you had to pick best or most genuine and best boy or best boyfriend, yeah, who would you pick?
Most genuine, maybe I would pick Chris because he
That's what I was
seemed
thinking.
genuine. Like he
Yeah,
hasn't given a reason to not seem genuine.
yeah.
For best boyfriend material, I guess Chris again, but not, we haven't really seen much. So, like,
No,
honestly,
for
that one's
real.
hard. I'm like, I don't, I guess Pepe would be fine. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel you. Whenever it's time to pick a girl to do some or vote on a girl, I always know who I want to
Right.
vote for. But for the guys, I'm always conflicted.
I'm like,
So
they're all terrible.
y'all let us know
So,
what you like about Pepe.
right.
Because even discourse online is not like super high on Pepe. You know, like
Yeah.
they mention him. It's not like people hate him, but it's not like how everybody's obsessed with Amaya, you know?
Yeah. It's just like, oh, we like him, but
Yeah. But anyway, Chris and Huda chat and he's like, "You look good today." She's like, "Thank you. How are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm down." She's like, "What's wrong?" He said he had a dream about basketball and it's his passion. And when he is away from it and has a dream like that, it makes him wonder if he wants to continue. And she's like, "Well, don't think like that." And he's like, "No, but I have to because I'm getting to an age where I kind of want to do over other things. But being overseas for 6 to 9 months, you can't really put time to other things when you're away so long. So it makes him emotional." And I was like, "There's a lot of complex feelings going on, Chris. I don't know if I
right.
fully. There's a lot here."
A lot to unpack here.
Yeah. And she's like, "Well, he says he's trying to hold it in." And she's like, "Well, you don't have to. If you need to cry, you can cry. There's no shame."
Yeah.
She says she feels the same way about being away from her daughter, but she knows, but she says, that think of this like a pause. It's not the end. And he
Hmm.
says, the giving up part is hard for him. And she said she doesn't think he needs to give it up. He can pursue multiple things at once. And if you do what you love, then you'll be the happiest person. And you never know what's going to happen next. Life is unpredictable. And she
Hmm.
says that she was broke with her daughter and she was trying not to be sad because she just knew that something better was coming for her. So she tells him to kind of think of it that way too, because you don't know what's coming next.
Yeah.
So even when it feels impossible to like still be positive. And he thanks her and they hug. And I was like, this is some bomb ass advice, Huda.
Right. Okay, Huda.
I was like, and it was really sweet to just like hear them. I think that Chris had a lot of complex emotions happening, and she
Hmm.
was just there to like understand and talk him through it, and it was really sweet.
Yeah. I was like, all right, Huda, come through.
Yeah,
They're sweet together. They'll probably win.
they might.
Uh,
I was like, is this the production pick their new winner?
I know, right?
In his confessional, Chris says he really likes her and he's seeing a side of her that people haven't seen yet. And he thinks that they're really good for each other. She helps him get out of his head and he helps her be her true self and calms her down in moments where she's really emotional. And they hug and he says he feels better now. It was cute.
It was.
I do also like the kind of okay, so we talked you said something during the live stream where you're on a show long enough to
Oh, you can leave early enough to like remain the hero or stay long enough to be the villain. Something
mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like Huda was the villain at first, and now we're seeing a different side of her,
Yeah.
which honestly I appreciate.
Same. It's
And
just, it's one of those things. There's enough time has passed that where it's like you're able to see more people and it's time for redemption. Like you have
yes,
that time.
you do. And honestly, I early on I was like, oh, she doesn't take accountability. She might be a narcissist, and I am eating my words because she is not like that. Well, we don't see her being like that in these moments, you know?
She has
Like,
more qualities to her than just that.
yes, she does. And like we see her apologize and like try to make things better and try to make things right with people and be like give people good advice and be very comforting and stuff. So I appreciate this evolution of Huda.
hmm
Brian and Nick work out, and Nick says he's happy he and Cierra are still there, and he was shocked that Brian stood behind Jaden. And Brian is just saying that with Andrina it kind of stopped, but he had a different vibe with Jaden. But he did speak to Amaya yesterday. So Brian in his confessional says two doors close, and maybe this third door is the one that I was meant to walk through. The things that past connections see as a con in Amaya, I see as a pro. And he's like, that's where my eyes are now. And I'm like, all right, go off.
Okay.
Um, and Nick says he would love to see them both find someone. And Brian says her emotions don't scare him. And Nick says a sensitive gangster needs someone to find them to understand their sensitive gangsterness. And Brian's like, look, that's Hispanic culture. I'm used to it.
hmm
So it was very cute. And then Amaya Papaya talks to Clarke. And if we didn't already know that she's America's princess, this solidified it because she did not have to
hmm
have this conversation.
She didn't, and this was sweet.
It was. Because Amaya is like, Clarke, I know you had a tough night and I just wanted to talk to you. I don't believe you should have been voted last. And it was just this whole Taylor sticky situation. And Clarke agrees. She's like, I didn't deserve to be last with somebody, but somebody had to be last. And
hmm
Amaya's like, I just feel like I was misunderstood and America got to see the side of me that I've been trying to show everybody here. And I hope that America gets to see the side of Clarke as well. Because Amaya sees it and she believes that Clarke is a sweet soul.
That was so nice.
It was.
I was like,
And then
okay, Amaya.
and Clarke is just like sitting there like taking it in and I'm like sometimes you need somebody to like hype you up a little bit. I
Yeah.
was like this is so nice. She says that Amaya says that she thought America would view her as a crybaby emotional ass bitch. And that's not her. And
Oh,
Clarke said she was happy to see that Amaya was being understood in the way that she should be. And Amaya's like, look, I'm just going to keep on being me. I'm going to keep on being Amaya. And like I said before, if I'm not your cup of tea, bitch, don't drink it. Ain't nobody,
period.
ain't nobody motherfucking begging you to drink peppermint tea, bitch. Go drink some Tai Chi. The fuck?
Oh, let us know. Oh, I love her. And this was extra nice too because Clark just lost her Casa girls.
I know. And so like maybe Amaya could just see that she's like such an empath. Like maybe
hmm
she could see, oh, Clark's kind of alone and
Yeah.
went out of her way to go and like comfort her. So it was nice. Chelley and Ace eat on the dock. And she tells him that she made breakfast because she knows he went through a lot last night and she does appreciate him a lot. And he says, thank you and that he needed it. And they kind of hug. And then she's like, if the breakfast sucks, don't tell me, just eat it, just pretend that it does. And they kind of laugh. He asks how she is feeling after last night because she kind of took a beating too. And she said she's okay. She can rest knowing that it's not what the Islanders felt. And those are people that actually know her in her heart and her mind. And I'm like, true. Maybe we don't see it. We know we don't see everything. We could be wrong.
Yeah.
And she said, after thinking over everything, I don't want to explore anymore. The chapter with Chris is over, and she's good with going back to how she felt in the first place. The shakeup was enough for her to realize she doesn't want to lose something good that makes her happy. And he says he appreciates it and thanks her, and they kiss. And I was like, I thought maybe he'd be like, do you want to be closed off then? But he's probably going to do something to like make it be like
Yeah.
a grand thing to ask her to close off.
What was it that Johnny did for
Oh,
Sally in season 2? The like poems
yes. And
and
like
like
artif
Calvin.
wasn't it her artifacts across different
Yeah. It was
places in the
like
villa?
a scavenger hunt or something. And I just remember Calvin was there saying shit. I was like, Calvin, get the fuck out of here.
He was good at it, but it was funny. I think he had like one of her thongs at one area and then like
Yeah.
something in a different area.
Mm.
Um,
Overcompensating.
for real. So Chelley in her confessional says they had a rough few days, so her cooking breakfast was expressing her feelings to him and her love for him, but not that she loves him. She just
Oh.
has love for him.
Hmm.
And I was like, this is like, I actually really thinking about Ace. I feel like he was kind of down after
Yeah.
everything. He was really quiet that morning.
Oh yeah.
We really don't see him happy until they play the game. So yeah. Speaking of the game,
Oh.
Elan gets a text, and it's the crashing out challenge. Everybody is hype. Amaya's like, "Give us a break. We just survived an apocalypse yesterday." Chris jokes that this is Huda's moment she's been waiting for, and they laugh. And Zach jokes that he can finally crash out. So they go and they play the crashing out game. So each boy picks a wingman or a wingwoman to help them make a choice. So they pick which option they prefer from the answers above the door, and then they run at the door of the choice, and one door is solid, one will break. And then the guy makes his way across a pool of slime, and everybody like sprays them.
Mm.
And then they step in the circle to confess their latest crash out and head to the ball pit for a kiss. Um,
Another stupid game with too many steps. I'm like, what are we doing?
Literally, this kind. So we're watching this, and me and Brent are like, "This is stupid." And Jalissa is like, "I think they needed something fun." During our patron during our live stream was like, "I think
Yeah.
they needed something fun," and I was like, "Honestly, yeah."
Fair point, fair point.
This game is just, I think, for the Islanders to wind down, and they basically spend the whole day or a good part of the day and
Hmm.
evening playing this game.
Yeah, till like the dead of night. It's like dark outside by the end. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, but they had fun with it.
And they did.
Um, I just have highlights, but like I don't think I need to go through all of them. Nick crashed out when he left the villa and he picked Cierra to kiss.
Mm.
Taylor crashed out when he had to twerk for Meg and he picks Clarke to kiss. Ace crashed out when Nick left the villa and he kisses Chelley. Zach picks Amaya to be his wingwoman and she hit the door actually really hard. It looked like
Yeah.
it
She's like,
hurt.
nurse down.
But she jumps in the ball pit, and in the ball pit, Zach, he's like, just as a thank you, and kisses her. And
Yeah.
I was like, interesting.
That was weird.
In her confessional, she's like, what happened to boundaries? But it's all good. It's nothing but a good time over here.
Uh,
And I was like, no, for real though. I thought you were like
all
kissing
these men
her.
trying to say boundaries and all this, and babe, don't
Mm-hmm.
say babe. And then
Mm-hmm.
when it comes time to make out, they make out with Amaya.
Right. Because he kissed her in the ball pit, which nobody else did.
Yeah.
But then he kissed Olandria in the other ball pit. So
Hmm.
Chris goes, he said he crashed out when he saw the beds weren't big enough, which is so funny to me.
That is. I didn't even think about that. But he is
Uh-uh.
so tall.
He is. He kisses Huda. Pepe goes, he picks Taylor as his wingman, and Taylor like hits the door really hard. And he says he crashes out whenever somebody leaves, and he kisses Iris. And they both say it was a really good kiss.
Hmm.
The sun is down now. Elan picks Sierra for his sidekick, because she knows me so well from Casa. He said he crashed out when he realized Nick was still in the villa, but then he kisses Iris. And in her confessional, Iris says she prefers Pepe's kiss.
I get it.
Brian picks Huda to be his sidekick. And he's like, I crash out. Actually, no, I never crash out. It was funny. And he kisses Amaya. And they were both really excited to kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, that kiss was hot. 10 out of 10.
Uh,
And he says his plan for the night is to chat with Amaya. And then the girls vote, and Ace was the ultimate crash out, and everybody plays in the slime and has fun. It looked like fun. I was like, oh my
it
gosh, you
did
guys.
that part because as they're doing like the jumping, the guys were so bad. They kept slipping and falling. I was just like, they're gonna get hurt.
No, for real, they were
Uh,
falling all over the place.
But then when they were
Uh,
having fun at the end, I was like, oh, this would be fun.
yeah, no, I'm glad they gave them helmets this time. I'm like,
Right.
y'all been throwing them out there.
I wonder if any of them are gonna try to get on like the challenge or something. And I'm like, this isn't the best
Oh,
performance, if so.
no, it's not. It's not. Ooh, who could we see going on the challenge?
I would say Ace, but I feel like he has too many followers that like usually the people who go on the challenge want more attention.
Mm-hmm.
I could see a Lan.
I could see Elan.
Hmm.
Or maybe Pepe, like someone who's like kind of already fit.
Pepe could. Maybe Nick, but I don't even think Nick would. Taylor
Yeah,
wouldn't.
I don't think Taylor would.
Um,
Maybe Jalen would go on the. Jalen's too nice for the challenge.
he is, but and he has too much going on now. He has too many followers and getting
Look,
like too much attention. I'm like, he doesn't need that.
Jalen is booked and busy, okay?
Ace is about to be on the next season of The Traitors. Here first.
Oh. Wait, who from Love Island went to the trade? Was it Janae?
Rob and
Rob?
Mora. Yes, overalls. Janae's on that Destination X,
Oh, okay, okay.
but Traitors is
Why
Rob
the
and
fuck is
Mara.
Rob on Traders? Ugh.
I don't
So
know.
is he in next gen? No, then, right?
No.
Or not next gen. What's the show called?
Oh, Beyond
What's
the
this?
Villa.
Yeah,
LOL. No, he's not, which was surprising.
I'm kind of okay with that.
I mean, I'm fine with it. It's just like I would have pictured him there before Connor,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, after the challenge, they all go back to the villa and the girls chat. And Maya's like, hello, Brian. It was a good kiss.
Hmm.
And she in her confessional says Brian was the best kisser here. We will see. But she's not gonna get too ahead of herself. And then the boys chat, they're all hyped. They had a good time. Chris asked Brian if he felt anything, and Brian's like, hell yeah! Like, he likes what she says, and she is passionate. And Chris says you'll never be bored with her, and he's like, exactly. And then Taylor asks Pepe how he feels. He picked Iris. Was there a spark? And Pepe is like, yeah, he doesn't want to make anything messy. He doesn't really say much to the guys. But in his confessional, he says that she's a cool girl and there is a spark. It was a really great kiss. And he felt comfortable with her. The girls keep chatting. Iris was taken by surprise, but the girls were like, we weren't. She
Ugh.
says Pepe and I have never explored each other in that way. And Sierra's like, because you never had a chance. Um,
See, this is why we got rid of Hannah.
See, because like Hannah had two great connections, but now you get to have one
Look at
with her
that.
man.
Because of our decision. Hello.
So when you get kicked out, Sierra, Nick will have a chance.
We'll see.
Do you think they're gonna kick her out, Brandon? I don't.
I don't just because it's too late in the season, although it
Yeah,
is not consistent with
it's not.
their past.
It's
So
not.
I don't know. And they didn't address it in Aftersun.
They did
Not to get
not.
too ahead, but they didn't.
I thought they would. Because a lot of people are like, Jalissa could sue since you kicked her out for something that you didn't kick
Oh yeah, you,
other
Lissa?
people. Yalissa, sorry,
Not
could
you,
sue.
Jalissa. Never you.
Not Jalissa, our patron. Yalissa could sue. Jalissa told us that Yalissa could sue.
Which,
I went
I,
to her TikTok and a lot of people are in the comments saying like you should sue if blah blah blah.
y'all shut up. I'm like, shut up. Like, I get it. Yes, Sierra should, but why are we now then trying? You see how backwards this is? That you're now trying to support the racist person who was kicked off for being racist because this other girl might or might not get kicked off for also making a racist comment. Like,
Yeah.
you see now, so what are you actually standing for? Are you just looking like what are we doing here? Because
It
you're
is.
not standing on business by trying to support Ulissa. You're negating everything you're trying to stand for against Sierra by then trying to support Ulissa and saying she should try to sue and like do all this. Like let it we don't maybe she will get kicked off, maybe she won't. I'm sure they'll address it at the reunion. If not, I think to keep up with things they should kick her off and like it's not okay what she did, but we just don't know
Yeah.
yet. Like let's see. But also I regardless, I'm not trying to support Ulissa,
Yeah.
like bare
Yeah,
minimum.
it's backwards. We're like doing the opposite. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because you told me she went to the mall. So I wanted to see about the mall thing.
Yes.
And they went to the mall and people were at the mall, but it was a lot of like young kids. Like it looked like
Mm-hmm.
teenagers and stuff want you listen to the meet and greet with JD at the Dolphin Mall in Miami.
Which that's who I think it's like the younger viewers sending like the
Yeah.
hate and probably telling her like, "Oh, you should sue."
Yeah, probably.
So I would
Probably.
hope that the people that are against Sierra, that are actually against Sierra for the right reasons and we're against Ulissa, aren't the ones commenting saying that Ulissa should sue. Maybe it's the younger ones that are like fans that are like, "Oh, you should do this."
Right, right. Like I think that in terms of production, you can't like you're not standing on business and you can get sued. But would I
Hmm.
go to the person and be like, "Here are the tools to sue?" Like,
Right. Like, come on, y'all.
yeah, it's a very gray area. I think that tonight we might not see Sierra, but we will see. We will
We're gonna
see.
see if anything, because people were saying, oh, they were hoping not to see her like the past episodes that we're talking about. But I'm like, it just happened, and these were already like probably edited and
Yeah.
like filmed like before everything came out.
Yeah, because I think that yeah, what's her name? Sorry. Yalissa, right?
Ulissa, yeah.
I think Yulissa had probably a week
Hmm.
of like time with production or whatever before she left because they did like all of the intro stuff, all of the packages, all of that, you know.
Hmm.
So I wonder how much time they need for Sierra.
Yeah.
And when we were watching this episode on Friday, it looked a bit short. So I'm like, I
Hmm.
don't know if y'all are clipping stuff or you got more work to do. I don't know.
Yeah. Someone was wondering that, and I did actually think. Because maybe it was this episode or maybe the burster bubble. I felt like they weren't showing Sierra that much. And I'm like, maybe they're starting to like weaning off of her.
Yeah, because we did see her talk to people, but we didn't see any confessionals. She has a conversation with Nick, but like it
Yeah.
wasn't
Is weaning off a word? Did I just make that
we.
up?
No, weaning off. No, that's a word.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I said it and I was like, is that right?
I got confused. I was like, did I say it? So we will see, y'all. We'll
Yeah.
see.
We'll see. But again, y'all, we shouldn't support either. Hello.
Yeah. All right.
But,
Sierra fucked up. Yulissa fucked up.
and Ulysses
Um,
doubling down, especially.
she is. That's the worst part because she started with an apology and has now said other things. So
Hmm.
anyway, everyone gets ready for bed, and Elan says everything really feels messy, and I don't really know why. Chris agrees. He's like, "Yeah, you don't want it to be, but it just ends up messy." I was like, "Is this a clip from another day?" Because today was like really chill and y'all had fun.
Right.
Sierra asks if Iris will talk to Pepe, and she says if he wants to talk, she will. She has always thought he was cute, so
Mm.
we'll see. And then they all cheers to a good night. They all come downstairs and like cheers. And Amaya and Zach chat. And he helps her up the step to wherever they're sitting. And he's like, "You're always complaining I'm not being a gentleman, but here we are." And Amaya's like, "We're improving." And he said he wanted to get some things off his chest during the Stand on Your Business challenge. He felt like certain things he should have said to her in private. But because it was a challenge, he thought, let's bring some heat type of shit.
Yeah.
But when he saw her cry, he was like, shit, it was a bit too far. So he apologizes. And she says she didn't like the way things ended off. She was angry and she doesn't like to use profanity, regardless of how angry she is. And it wasn't okay for her to speak to somebody like how she spoke to him. And there's like no excuse. So she apologizes to him for telling him to shut the fuck up.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's funny, like when you're like, I'm really sorry. Earlier when I called you a pea-brained fool, I didn't like when you repeat what you
Yeah, you're
said.
like, I
Like,
shouldn't have called you an extremely odd individual.
it's a little funny to me.
Uh, it is. But it was sweet that she felt she was wrong and she was sad about it and
Yes,
apologized.
yes, she's being very Amaya Papaya. Like, I'm sorry
Hmm.
for telling you to shut the fuck up. And he's like, it's all good. He was thinking about his actions and felt like when two guys were already going at her, he should have been there to defend her because she was his partner. Like, they were coupled up.
Hmm.
He's like, we didn't see eye to eye, but it doesn't change the fact that he thinks she's a fucking wicked girl. And he knows that she sees him and he sees her. And so in his confessional, he says he's happy to squash the beef and move on, regardless of which direction they go. And he's really glad they're friends again. And she says she's trying not to be emotional, but she feels really hurt that she called him names. And he says it's all good and they hug, but she kind of starts to cry and just says that she didn't mean it. She was very angry and it was a moment where she was in a bad place. So she says she's sorry, but every time she tries to apologize, he interrupts her and is like, it's good, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
he wants her to live her life and be a Maya Papaya and be happy and have fun. And so in her confessional, Amaya says that it's the end of her romance between Zach, but they are still friends to the fullest. They are mature civilians and they can act accordingly. And they are
Period.
both fun and funny in their own way, and that's all that mattered. So they really reconcile, which is nice.
It is. I was like, okay, this is sweet.
Yeah, I'm like, Zach, this is an apology where you just like say sorry
Right.
and don't dredge up anything else.
Hmm.
And I do like that he acknowledged that he didn't need to gang up on her with everyone else.
Yeah.
Um, Nic and Cierra talk, and he asks how she feels since being closed off. And she says she feels really good. And he says he doesn't know what closed off means being in the real world. And she says like closed off is only a thing that exists in the Love Island universe. Meaning in there, like you're not open to getting to know anybody else. But in the real world, she would think that it translates the same way. She wouldn't say that they're like exclusive, but they would focus on each other for as long as they can until it leads one way or another. And he says that's where his head is, and what she says aligns with what he was thinking. So it's
So
kind
they're
of
not
like
gonna last.
she's like, "You're not my boyfriend, but like if we leave, we could like just keep going and like see where it goes."
Right. I'm like, the way y'all like you speak about him, you would think you would want to be boyfriend and girlfriend, but now you're kind of
Yeah,
saying no, and then we know he doesn't want to be.
yeah. Did
I
that
don't
surprise
know.
you?
I mean, a little, not, I guess it didn't surprise me that they actually don't want to be boyfriend and girlfriend, but it surprises me that they're not saying they want to be boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yes, it's interesting that now that they're closed off, they're both very subdued.
Hmm.
Sierra had a lot of strong feelings for Nick, you know, and would like be thinking about him and running up staircases to have a moment of reprieve,
Hmm.
so now we don't see that, which is a little different. Um, Chris and Chelley talk, and she says, since Casa, it's been up and down. And during the Stand on Business challenge, there was clearly some miscommunication. So she wanted to clear things up. And he says, he wasn't hurt. It just made him think about things a little differently. Maybe she was upset. Maybe he did too much. But overall, he just thought maybe he needs to take a step back. And that's what he did. When he saw her getting that comfort from Ace, he was like, okay, this must be her choice without telling me. So he just focused on what he had with Huda. And she says, hearing him now, perspective is one hell of a thing because at the time, things didn't change for her. And she says she wishes they could have had a conversation and fixed it. But they are here now, and he is growing a connection, and she is growing hers. And he says as long as they are good, he is cool, no hard feelings, and he wishes her the best. So in his confessional, he says they both needed some closure about what happened, but he is glad that they can be friends and he wishes her and Ace the best. They have a really strong connection and they both deserve it. So they hug and he's like, it's all good. Like everything's okay over here. He says, you're a really great person, Chelley. And she's like, you are too. I agree with what America had to say about you. Um, what'd you think about this conversation?
It felt a little like a formality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, good that they're on good terms. Interesting though at the end when she's like, "Oh, I agree with America, but you didn't agree with America about what they said about Ace and you." So, I don't know. I
Yeah.
wonder if it was completely genuine, but it just seemed like something like they were just making up to make up, which is fine.
Right.
But overall, I don't know. I guess that's good.
Yeah. Like I thought that it was interesting because she said, perspective is one hell of a thing because that's not how I really felt. I think she was like, I really think everything that happened was just completely misdirected. She wanted to get to know Chris. She didn't get to and was upset about that and didn't handle it well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have pulled Chris aside and just been like, "Hey man, I wish we could talk more. I thought we were going to. Like what's going on?" You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like when you're buddied up with Ace, what is a guy supposed to think? You know?
Right. And it's clear you and Ace have like been together since the beginning
Right.
and possibly before.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just like we didn't see enough with them. Like it seemed like they were interested, but then it kind of fizzled. So for it to be kind of a thing is just like weird to us, but maybe again there was more like that we
Yeah.
didn't see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think so with them. Iris and Pepe talk on the dock and
Talk on the dog. Talk on the dog.
and they're just like, yeah, like today's challenge was really fun. That was interesting. And they both kind of talk about like how they enjoyed it. And then meanwhile, Nic and Cierra are in the kitchen talking about Iris and Pepe, wondering like what they're gonna do. And Iris just says, like it's kind of weird talking to him because just a day ago, she was talking to TJ.
Mm-hmm.
But she says she hates sleeping alone. Like even at home, she lives with roommates and she sleeps with them. And he's like, "Yeah, I sleep with my dog, or I sleep with my dog." And so they kind of just like flirt on the dock for a little bit, and they seem to be having a good time. And her confessional, I think she's just like pleasantly surprised that maybe something could happen with TJ. They're both open.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
We'll
like,
see.
yeah, I was kind of hoping to see if she would get close to Elan, but
I'm fine with that not happening. Um,
poor Elan just in the villa. He's like, I guess I have to hang out with the guys now.
hmm
And not Amaya either, which I'm okay with. Like, Brian seems really sweet
Same.
because
Because
Brian and Amaya go to the speakeasy. Brandon, they really don't say anything. There's very little conversation. Like it kind of okay, it kind of starts and he's like okay, first off, Amaya's wearing a muumuu and she's wearing
she
the hell
is.
out of a muumuu.
hmm
And she
She's
looks really good in
comfortable.
it. She's super comfy in it. And so they start to talk a little bit and she's like, "Oh, he asks like, do you like to go out on the weekends? Like, do you like to party and stuff?" And she's like, "No, actually, like, earlier in my 20s I did, but like I'm a little more subdued now. Like I don't go out all the time, but like if it's
hmm
for a friend's like birthday or something, maybe I'll go out. Like, it's kind of like chill. I don't really like loud music and stuff." And so they just start talking and then he asks like what her love language, or she says quality time is her love language. sorry, she says she likes quality time, and then he asks what her love language is, and she's like physical touch, but I mean not too much. And he's like, look, you don't have to explain yourself to me. Like it's okay. Like I'm okay. I want you to be like yourself. Like I want you to be comfortable with yourself. You don't have to change yourself or whatever. And she's like, thank you. Like I've been trying. And then they just like she just gets like all giggly and stuff. And he tells her, come
Mm-hmm.
here. So they start to kiss. And she's like
Yes.
leaning over, kissing him. And then they kiss more. And she sits on his lap.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kiss more. And he grabs her ass. And I was like, do y'all need a
I
minute?
know, right? They were going in, but I was like, okay, I'm
I
liking
promise.
this.
It was like the last 5 minutes of the
It
episode
was.
was just them in the speakeasy having a time, and it was really cute.
It was.
He tells her like he's like, I like your dress. She's like, you like my grandma dress? He's like, yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh my gosh, Amaya.
Amaya Papaya.
Amaya got to have her moment. We were
She
watching this time, and
did.
I'm like, look, this girl has had like no action all
Mm-hmm.
season. Somebody needed to come up there and love our Amaya Papaya.
Yearn for her and give her the attention and affection she deserves.
Yes. And I was like, this is so cute. Okay, Brian.
It
And
was.
and that's where it ended.
All right, so then we had Aftersun, which was uh, fine.
Listen, they're bringing Mara back.
Yes, for the final one.
I was like, this is so silly. Um, I it was really whatever.
It was. I feel like they could make Aftersun great. They just have so many awkward moments, and it feels like people aren't really speaking their mind.
That's kind of true. Like we see a little, but they don't go in.
Yeah.
There's it's not a debate. It's more like I think this and I think that.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about this? Okay, we'll go to commercial. It's like, all
Right.
right, when we come back,
Mm-hmm.
Ariana Maddox. When we come back, the the dumped Islanders.
When we come back, Ariana's going to give the eighth PSA about stop harassing people online.
Like if it needs to be a 30-minute show, make it a 30-minute show instead of extending it to be like all of this, you know?
Right. And I don't understand why Ariana's not hosting it because I think in the UK one, the host of the show, Maya Jama, is also the host of the Aftersun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did she and she didn't host it was Mara last year. Yeah, I wonder
Hmm.
why.
Hmm. So I don't know. But
Yeah.
I mean, we did learn that there's not gonna be a movie night, which
Yeah, I don't think
sucks.
so. Yeah.
But there is the recoupling tonight. And
Hmm.
then also there's gonna be people they're gonna be able to see their family. I guess families coming to the villa.
Yeah, and it's like, whose family did y'all invite? They're like,
Right.
sorry guys, Sierra's mom's already on her way. Like, I don't
We already
know.
had this booked.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, I'm trying to think. They had all the five people that were kicked off.
Yeah, they asked Austin about the Amaya thing. Because he was like, yeah, I really like Amaya. And they're like, well, you kind of like were upset when you didn't have someone with Chelley, but then with Amaya, you like it was too much, and we kind of felt like what's going on? And he's like, yeah, I was kind of ungrateful, and that was kind of it that he addressed.
Yeah,
Because then Jaden came on, and he was like, I like Jaden, she's so beautiful, and we have this great connection and whatever.
yeah.
Um,
I do remember Sally asked Idrina because during the Stay in Your Business, Ace was like, "Didn't Jeremiah come on strong?" And
yeah,
Idrina's like, "He did, but I liked it." Which is what I figured too, because it really
same.
she was just answering Ace's question. Like, I don't know. I didn't think too much of that, but I'm
I
glad she
was like,
clarified.
me too. I was like, you kind of let him run with it. He's like, see? And it's like, you asked her something, she said yes, and apparently a point was proven. So yeah,
Right.
she cleared that up. And they were joking about how she said she's gonna steal everyone's man because they're using that sound to like,
Mm-hmm.
people are using that sound to like go to the gym and stuff.
Yeah.
TJ said, he hopes that they're like, are you gonna watch? Like, are you gonna keep watching Iris? And he's like, I don't know if I should. But he hopes that they'll stay together. And then the unseen moment of the one of the unseen moments was that during the rating reveal, what was that challenge called? Sorry.
Oh, burst your bubble or don't burst your something.
They were all like picking where they would stand, and Amaya ate it.
She did. Poor
She
Amaya.
she
And Ariana's like,
complete
Amaya, no.
and she was laughing, so it was
Uh,
funny. She was laughing. She's like, I meant to do that. That was my party trick. And
that
I
was
was like,
my trick.
oh Maya. And like Huda and I think Olandria helped her up, but she like completely ate it. And then they showed the guys like trying to like stack on top of each other. So
Hmm.
that was kind of funny. This Aftersun was very underwhelming.
It was for
Yeah.
Sophie's last one too.
Yeah. Because I
Um,
think that when it was Callum, Chelley,
and
and
Deb,
Deb, okay.
who was on like Love Island Games.
Yeah. And I guess Callum ghosted her or whatever.
Oh yeah.
They were all talking about they were talking about Austin and or Taylor at one point.
Hmm.
And Callum's like, I don't know what Taylor's not doing anything wrong. He's having a genuine experience, blah blah blah. And the girls were like, well, he wasn't honest. And he's like, I guess. And then they all agreed that like Zach didn't need to add to the Amaya thing. So it was
Yeah.
just like kind of reiterating stuff I think that people already agree on.
Hmm.
And that was really it. There was really nothing to come of Aftersun this time.
Yeah. I liked Ariana's dress, but what's new?
Yeah,
Um,
she looked great as per usual.
yeah.
And it will be
But
interesting to see parents in the villa.
it will be. I wonder whose, because last time it was like if you won a challenge, you got to, and then
Mm,
you got to pick two other couples or something.
to do it right, because it was
Hmm.
um did Kayla and Aaron's parents meet?
Yes, it was Kayla and Aaron,
Cordell.
Cordell and Serena,
Janae?
Kendall and
Oh, Kendall
Nicole.
and Nicole. Okay.
Hmm.
It was the three of them, yeah.
It was, and it was like a Zoom or
Mm-hmm.
something in the big
Yeah.
thing over there. So it looks like it's going to be different. So I guess they pre-selected who's going to meet their family.
I
So
guess.
we'll see.
Unless they have everyone's family on standby
I know, right? It's
to
probably
come
going to
over
be
and
some of the OGs, I would guess, because
I
they've
would
been
guess.
without the long. Well, I guess they haven't technically been without the longest because everyone flies to Fiji at the same time.
Yeah, I feel
But
like they probably will do Hood. I think could be Hood
do you
and
think they'll bring
Chris.
Huda's daughter?
Oh my gosh, she
That would
would
actually
lose
be
her.
sweet. Oh gosh, they are if they're going to set up the winners at it.
That would be so cute. And honestly, okay, Brandon, I get that this is a show and people are acting away on the show, but I do think they didn't go out of their way to give Huda a bad edit, but I don't I don't know. I feel like they're partly responsible. So maybe like fuck, people are calling CPS. Maybe we need to get this help this girl out because people are going crazy. They were going
Yeah.
crazy on Huda.
I think it's everything because there's
Yeah,
things they could show and things they couldn't show. She
right.
still did the things.
She
But one
did.
thing I do agree with Ariana, she mentioned, she's like, I don't understand why people online aren't giving these Islanders a second to resolve their issues.
That's true. That's
Because it's
true.
like all these people were calling for Chelley and Olandria to get kicked out and lose the vote. Mind you, the very next episode, they're making up with Huda and they're hugging because they're friends.
People
Like,
were really doing that. Damn.
yeah, they didn't want them to stay. And I'm just like, okay, y'all, it's really not that deep. Like, yes, I don't like what they did, but I'm not like the
Mm-hmm.
viewers just changed like with a dime, like
Right.
episode per
Right.
episode, which I get having different feelings every episode, but to want someone to leave because they did one thing wrong, I'm like, okay, y'all.
Yeah, that's a little too much. We're going a little too far now.
Hmm.
And like, yeah, like what you said, I think that let's make our judgments at the end. Like, let's give them the whole
Right.
season and make our judgments at the end. Because when I heard that people were calling CPS on Huda, I was like, that's so fucked
That's
up. That
crazy.
crosses so many lines. what possibly could she be doing on this show that results in you thinking she's endangering her kid? Like, people are doing too
Because
much,
she
you
called
know?
Jeremiah a pussy ass bitch. Like, yes, it wasn't great. It was bad, but like that has nothing to do with that. Like, come
Right.
on.
Like, come on. But so I was like, maybe them bringing Huda's daughter could really be like their chance to help this girl out a little bit. Yes,
Maybe.
it went down how it went down. We can't complain about what already happened, but let's help her on her way out, you know?
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people even now that really stan Huda. She's like, her following has grown a lot. I think um, similar to how Amaya's has.
Oh yeah,
I
they're
think
like
people are
over a
feeling,
million followers.
yeah, I think people are
So
feeling better about her.
okay, I'll call top two. It's gonna be Chris and Huda and Brian and Amaya.
Yeah, I think so.
And then
I really
third
think so.
place, Ace and Chelley. Fourth place, Nic and Cierra.
Wait, what do you think? Would Clarke and Taylor even make it? Probably
Oh,
not, right?
I forgot about them. Um, I don't know, hit or miss.
Yeah. If okay, so if they're not there, then yes, I think honestly, I think Chelley and Ace might be below Nic and Cierra if they make it to the
Yeah.
end.
Unless Sierra leaves and people don't vote for her because of everything
Wait,
that happened. So,
because what was it last year? We picked our favorite couple, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
But there was a
Yeah.
vote right before. There's going to be
Yeah.
more votes, so we shall see.
We shall see. We'll see.
uh,
But
but with that being said, I think that's it for today's
that's
episode.
all for
Oh
today.
my gosh, y'all. Thank y'all so much for listening. Make
Yes.
sure to rate and review us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. We got a new review to shout out.
Yes.
Oh, this one's even so technically we have 2 reviews to shout out, but let me start with the newest positive one.
Okay.
So there was one by LJ Mouton. I want to say it's Mouton 01. 5 stars. Love the longer episodes. It's funny, we were saying how last time we said in the episode, oh, like it's gonna be a shorter one because of the week and all that. And then it was like almost 2.5 hours. So
It was. There was no way I could keep my part short.
uh, but we did have one review to shout out that I
Wait.
missed. Yes.
Oh, you read it, right? The other one?
Mm-hmm.
I meant to say thank you. Love the 5 stars, and I'm glad that y'all are sharing your feedback with us. That helps us
Mm-hmm.
figure out what we need to do.
Yes, we
Yes.
love that. Now
And
this
then the
one,
other one.
I must have blocked it out because I only look at 5 stars, but I just didn't notice. So from 1115 Jamie on June 27th of 2025, we received 3 stars. Could be worse. And it says, for the love of God, please stop saying like. I was like, and she was like, and then like. The content is good and I crack up, but I don't know how much longer I can take it.
Oh,
Well,
damn,
Jamie,
Jamie.
all I can like say is that
Like,
if like
that's like
I'm not
crazy.
everyone's cup of tea, so don't like be fucking drinking it then, bitch. No, I'm just
No, that's hard. Cause I was about to say like again, I think it's just us thinking. Our show is not scripted, and I kind of
kidding.
use that word as a filler word as
I
I'm
know
like
I do,
figuring out what
yeah.
I'm gonna say.
hmm
So I'm gonna think about this, Jamie, but no promises.
No promises, Jamie. And you know what? It's all love. We
Yeah,
appreciate the review regardless. Three
thank
stars
you.
could have been worse, but I mean,
Yes.
you could have given us 5 and given us the criticism, but whatever. But that was just funny. I was like, okay,
Yes.
y'all.
Yeah.
Our haters are our biggest motivators. So if you want to be like Jamie, or if you want to be like that first one, leave us some stars, preferably 5, in a review, and we'll shout you out. Spotify, you can give us 5 stars, and we
Mm-hmm.
you can get comments on the episodes. We've gotten a few recently that are very nice.
Yes.
If you want to see our beautiful faces instead of just listening to our beautiful voices, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at the
The
Shade It All
internet got mad at this
Podcast.
cameraman.
Maggie, during my monologue, are you kidding me?
I'm so sorry, Brendan. I'm
I'm
so
just kidding.
sorry.
This
I
is
was
why we
like,
got
can you
ranked
hear
three
that?
stars.
I was like, can you hear that?
uh,
I was trying to look at our YouTube studio and I pressed the wrong
LOL.
button.
We post clips on TikTok at the Shade of It All Podcast. We have our Instagram at the Shade of It All Pod. And then we have our Patreon at the Shade of It All, where we do our weekly live watch parties every Friday. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, this Friday, it's going to be our last one for this season of Love Island.
Yeah, come join us, y'all.
We might be doing Beyond the Villa.
Yeah.
If not, we'll figure out something.
Yeah.
So still join our Patreon. It's only $3. But we'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.